Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fun Friday.
I'm Sarah Hart, and this is America's Third Party.
I'm David John Sponheim, running for president in 2016. We are going to discuss tonight some major news.
So there is major news happening in the world, on overseas, North Africa and Middle East, and in the Middle East. The State Department has issued a travel warning to all Americans, and I'm not sure how long it's effective, but they are shutting down 21 embassies. That is major news.
Now, this is some sort of an Al Qaeda scare. Is that what I'm getting?
Yes, they're afraid that Al Qaeda is ramping up their rhetoric and will be targeting U.S. citizens.
Wow. Now, this is a strange coincidence because today Donald Trump tweeted that there is a breaking news story on Benghazi. Remember, there's been a lot of controversy about Benghazi and what went on there when Chris Stevens, ambassador, died. Well, apparently, people are leaking information at the CIA slowly. 31 CIA operatives were on the ground when Chris Stevens died, which is something the government never discussed. Now, this is just unconfirmed at this point because I understand that the CIA,
Yeah.
they are now lie detector testing everybody at the CIA that was involved weekly.
Weekly
And
or
bi-weekly.
monthly?
Yes, weekly.
Oh, wow.
They are trying to prevent any leaks on this story, which makes one wonder, what are they hiding? Now, that's something that is extremely important, and all of us need to be worried that our country is being handled by bad leadership right now, a bad administration that's got corruption within the ranks. This is what I've been contending for the past 4 years, and I argue that we are in the midst of it right now. I say that this entire accusation by the CIA that we are now at high alert for Al Qaeda is a cover for what's really going on, which is exactly the investigation into Benghazi.
Congress trying to get to the bottom of Benghazi. Now, someone brought up they are claiming that this travel warning is partially issued because some people are Israel may be talking about bombing Syria, and that goes along with the CIA story with 35 agents in Libya, in Benghazi.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that story was that they believe that the CIA and possibly the State Department denies it, the CIA is not talking at all, was taking weapons from Libya and then selling them to the rebels in Syria.
That's the theory. Now, there are other theories about what happened in Benghazi. One of the theories is that there was a huge money transfer. When Muammar Gaddafi was deposed from power and killed, the money transfer was huge and no one talked about it. Maybe Chris Stevens had information he wanted to reveal about the tremendous supply of gold that Muammar Gaddafi had and where it was going.
Exactly.
Possibilities that maybe he was snuffed out. And now, this is a very serious allegation. Mind you, I am not making that allegation. I'm merely questioning the possibility.
Exactly. Why did Obama take the plane that was supposed to rescue the people in Benghazi and send it to Iraq? Why?
Yeah, there was one
That's
plane that
question.
was stationed in Tripoli that was supposed to evacuate Chris Stevens and his friends and supporters, the people that worked with him, and the Navy SEALs that died, would have evacuated them, but it had been sent to Iraq a few days earlier. Why was the evacuation plane sent to Iraq? For no reason. And we weren't at war with Iraq. In fact, we'd pulled all our troops out of Iraq at that time. So these questions really raise huge, monstrous questions about the competency of the Obama administration, let alone the involvement of the CIA in our foreign policy. Now, with this ramping up of our national security preparedness for Al Qaeda attacks, the closing of 21 embassies, it is a signal to me that they're doing exactly what they've been doing all along, which is to create a bigger false flag operation to cover up the problems that they're having within their own department. People are beginning to talk, and that's something that they can't handle because they can't handle the truth getting out. That's the serious question that I have about their actions right now. Right now, David Sponheim is asking me, David, where were you on 9/11? Well, we just arrived. You're talking about 9/11, the current 9/11 recently? I'm not sure where I was. But back on 9/11, the World Trade Center attack, we just arrived back from a cross-country trip in which we were 5 days out of New York City. We drove by New York City when it was attacked on September 11th. about 5 days before. So we were there in that area, but luckily we weren't in the middle of it. We had been driving across country rapidly. When you cross country in 5 days, that's a record, actually. If you can do that in 5 days, you're pretty good with motel stays. Anyway, moving on, the issues that are cavalcating out of this, I wrote a tweet to Donald Trump. I don't know if you guys saw it, if you're following us on Twitter.
Which you can, if we're at Third Party, so you can tweet us and follow us over there.
Okay, I will try to bring in conversations from people who are on our video chat section at Tiny Chat in a little bit. Thank you. The question I'm proposing is, why did Hillary Clinton pull the MEK, which is a known terrorist organization, off the terrorist watch list almost immediately after Benghazi? Why did she pull MEK off of the terrorist watch list right after Benghazi? That's a little suspicious. And I wrote in the tweet, payback, ? Payback. What is this country going to do if its leadership is conniving, lying, and covering things up? How are we going to move forward with any kind of a seriousness toward a collaborative effort to find world peace when other countries don't take this seriously? Okay, I will take calls through the Tiny Chat network.
Okay, so let me just turn up the volume here for everyone.
That's pretty funny, Dave Fan.
We'll turn up the volume so we can hear as well.
Yeah.
Sorry if there's any echo. Go ahead. So you wanted to talk about what's going on in the Middle East?
Go ahead. We're on the phone with Rodney. Go ahead. You've got some concerns about the State Department. Let's hear it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm very concerned, Dave. I mean, am I on the live wire here?
You are. Are you live? Yeah, you're live both places. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rodney. You seem pretty depressed, Rodney. What's going on?
Hey,
go ahead.
Briefly, did Donald delete the tweet?
No. Why? Did you not get it?
Hello?
Did you not get his tweet?
I'm having some problems here, Dave.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go ahead and try getting back off and come back on again, and then you get... Donald didn't delete the tweet that I know of, but I tweeted him about that because I'm the only person asking about that right now.
Hello?
All right. Apparently, your volume isn't coming in on your end. I don't think we've... did we mute the microphone?
Hi, guys.
Can you hear us now? Hello? No. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear us now. Okay.
We can hear you, and
Hey, man.
everyone can hear you as well.
Well, what's your concern? What's your concern, Rodney, about the State Department? Let's get to that.
Dave, first of all, what I want to say is this creation of ours, this Al-Qaeda, has really come back to haunt us.
It has, hasn't it?
Again.
It
Let me
has.
say this.
Go ahead.
The day that America changes direction, closes down for a day because of a threat from these godless scumbags, Dave.
There is a man in disguise.
I'm listening. Go ahead. Yeah, continue.
It's a sign of weakness. It's bending over.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable.
It
and for
is.
that reason alone, Uncle Barry should be impeached.
Well, for once, you're starting to make sense, Rodney. I mean, we've been talking about impeaching Obama for some time. He's weakening our country. He is turning our nation into a laughingstock around the world. No question about it. And in fact, with a weakening of our nation and its ability to handle foreign policy, with the CIA running side ops left and right, and with this notion of Al-Qaeda popping up at the weirdest times, right when we're getting into an investigation into the CIA, this is a strange coincidence, folks. So I am concerned, and I must tell you, if we don't work rapidly to get Obama out of office for this term, we will be stuck with a guy who can't answer any of the questions that are going to be asked of his administration. I seriously believe that Obama has not only covered up the Benghazi situation, but many other involvements around the world. I think this guy's acting as a rogue agent for other governments at this point, or for perhaps, worst case scenario, a Muslim ideological directive. That's something that's very concerning. And
Dave, you know that's completely plausible.
It is. It is. And Rodney, I wouldn't even take your call. I wouldn't even take your call if it wasn't plausible, and that your input is important to us. So bear in mind, we are going to have to work together as a nation to pull together honesty and integrity in Washington.
Wake up, America.
Wake up, America. Yeah. Rodney, you seem kind of tired. Are you okay? Or you seem to be kind of bummed out by this whole event. How are you doing?
I am a little bummed out, Dave.
Yeah.
But I've also been drinking for, I don't know, like 7-8 hours.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it. You know, you can't find solace in the bottle, man. It's a depressant. It's going to make you more depressed.
I wasn't depressed, and I'm not feeling depressed. I was out getting some poontang, Dave.
That's exactly right. BC
All right. Well, thank you for your call. We'll go ahead and take other callers. Anybody who wants to come into Tiny Chat can do that and interact with us on a daily basis. Okay, Sarah, so we've got other things going on in the news. I don't want to just single this out. Go ahead.
Also, as many of you know, Iran has a new president who has not actually taken office yet. He's a president-elect in Hassan Rouhani. He's actually going to be taking office in 2 days. This may be also part of why the State Department has issued this travel warning, because of the taking over of this new person in Iran.
Right.
And he basically attended a pro-Palestinian holiday in Iran known as Al-Quds Day, and he said that basically he said that a sore has been sitting in the body of the Islamic world for many years. Many people believe this was a reference to Israel. Iranian news agencies actually misquoted him and stating something like the
Zionist regime is a sore which must be removed. Well, later in the day, they posted corrections. Mr. Rouhani, who has sought to portray himself as a moderate, did not use the most inflammatory anti-Israeli invectives sometimes heard from other Iranian leaders, most notably his predecessor, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad.
And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel has described Mr. Rouhani as a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Really?
So one of the things that I think the U.S. and many people are concerned about is any increased tensions between Iran and Israel.
Well, let's not discount the possibility that there is an al-Qaeda threat that is ramping up. Let's not discount that possibility. The coincidence of this on the heels of an investigation into the CIA being on the ground when Benghazi was attacked and not doing anything, that's a little suspicious. So processing this information is something we Americans are doing on a daily basis. Many of us don't even know the things that we just talked about on our show just now. These are the questions that really people that are in the know are asking and wondering, really, what's going on? What's really happening behind the scenes at the CIA? Are they having a major breach in security? Because we know that Bradley Manning and Edward Snowden, not to mention hackers from Shanghai, compromising our national security. And let's not forget the fact that the FBI and CIA were warned about the Boston Marathon bombers from Russia over a year and a half earlier, and they did nothing to stop those guys. So is there a complete breakdown in the national security of this great nation? I ask you, and I must say, as a voter, you are going to have to make a decision in 2016 whether you want the same old garbage out of the two parties, or do you want to start moving forward with some intelligent foreign policy coming out of a third party.
Exactly. There also, I was going to say, yes, exactly, that we do need intelligence coming out of a third party. Now, there is one other news story that I wanted to discuss tonight.
Sure, go ahead.
This is coming out of California. A court ruled that California will need to release 10,000 prisoners because due to overcrowding. What kind of prisoners do you suggest that these California prisons should release, David?
Well, if a mandatory law says 10,000 must be released, I would say low-level drug offenders, anybody with small drug possession charges, pot smokers, Vorpalbite, since I want to legalize marijuana as the first thing I do as president, repealing it from the list of controlled substances, I think, that goes in hand with what I've been talking about for some time, releasing low-level drug offenders. What do you think is going to happen?
I think I agree with you that they should begin with any low-level drug offenders without, as long as there's no weapon involved or other secondary crime involved.
Definitely no molesters should be released.
And they definitely should not release
no rapists, no capital criminals,
Oh, and I do
no
agree
bank robbers.
With Meow TV too, who says release the hookers. I'd say anyone who's in jail because of prostitution or marijuana,
Right.
should be released.
Yeah, right. Prostitution or marijuana possession. Do not release the hardened criminals, the ones who have committed capital crimes of a heinous nature. Do not release those. Somebody says, what about killers? Yeah, don't release those. Yeah, well, it's interesting. They probably, in California, based on what I'm seeing, they probably will release people who've been in prison the longest, which means they're going to be releasing some hardened criminals.
Hopefully that's not the case.
Hopefully that's not the case.
It may be. It may very well be.
All right. Well, I'm not concerned at this point, but all of this seems to be leading us toward more unrest, civil unrest in our country. Doesn't it seem that way to you, that more people are worried about their jobs now? I understand 4 out of 5 people working in America now are very concerned about their job security.
I believe many people are definitely concerned about their job security for good reason.
Yeah.
Because jobs are not secure.
Vorpalbite says, did you see where the Indianapolis police locked a rapist in the same cell as a prostitute and he raped her? The cops' idea of street justice? Wow, that's completely insane. That police or cops would do that. The bigger issue about the prisons that I don't think we're addressing right now is that a lot of them are privately owned for profit. That's something that is not cool. Not cool at all. In fact, because they're privately owned, they have an incentive to suck your tax dollars right into their little pockets, their little greedy pockets. So what they'll do, the prisons, is they'll pick up prisoners on minor charges like violating a restraining order, possession of small amounts of crack cocaine. And then they put these people in the jail cell, and as soon as that person's in the jail cell, they don't have to have any money. They get to bill the taxpayer about $120 a day per prisoner, just to keep this profit machine going. So I don't hear the two-party system talking about the for-profit prison business that has to stop. In some form or another, we're going to have to cut it back. I think reducing the number of illegal aliens in our prison system would be a good move in the right direction. We've got 400,000 illegal aliens in our prison system that we taxpayers, or those of us that pay taxes, are having to pay for up to $35,000 a year. That's a serious problem. Now, we do not believe in enforcing strong porn laws or taxes. We support the freedom of speech guaranteed in the Constitution. So if you guys are worried about that, that's not going to happen here. We don't believe in regulating an overly mandatory environment for people like the Democrats are doing right now. We don't want to tax with luxury taxes. We don't want to force people to drink a certain amount of soda. I mean, what happened with Michael Bloomberg of New York, the current mayor? He basically got his wings clipped when a judge told him that he couldn't impose this law saying you can't get extra 32-ounce drinks. So he's being told exactly what I'm saying. You can't force this on the American people. It's just not legal. Interesting. All right, I'm going to stand up because my leg is falling asleep. So sometimes do that. Hey, I'm wearing...
If anyone refutes my claim, then...
I'm wearing casual clothes tonight, as you can see. It's kind of a, it's a casual Friday. It's called Fun Friday, and not getting old. You are. Yeah, your problem is you're getting old, Jack, and you're transferring your problems on me.
Now you
I'm
were
actually
also
getting younger.
Talking about Silvio Berlusconi.
Yeah, Berlusconi is going to be serving 4 years in jail for tax evasion. Silvio Berlusconi is one of the most controversial figures in Italian history. I can't make it to Milan to hold his hand and console him, so I send a wish of help for him. He's saying to the Italian people, he served 20 years as a leader and a politician, and now he's getting 4 years of jail time in the end of his years, the final 4 years. I mean, he's 78 years old, so who knows how long he'll live, but seriously. I know, Noodles, he wouldn't give me the time of day according to you, but you never know. Somebody sympathetic to somebody might just get, ear time, possibly. Why don't you try contacting him in jail? All right, good. All right, I'm going to stand up and walk around because my foot's falling asleep, and if I do a little jogging routine back here.
I'm going to end the.
No, don't end anything. I'm good.
Local recording.
No, I'm good. No.
I think that's good.
Well, I think it's not good. I want to talk a little bit more. All right, now that my foot's back to normal, because this chair kind of pinches off my circulation, I just got out of the swim spa, and it's a rough life living here in paradise. For very little, by the way. We spend very little money. We live meagerly. I made a wonderful fettuccine dish tonight with some turkey sausage and fettuccine sauce and olives, black olives, on butterfly pasta and rigatoni. I hope you like that. And I also made a side salad with some Caesar dressing and some cut green beans in the romaine. So I hope you understand. We are not just here to talk about politics. We're here to talk about our life and your life. And being we're average American people, we want to bring our life to you on a daily basis, and that's what we do. Okay, some people are asking me to do the Scarface impersonation. I'm not going to do that right now, but we will be doing that later in the after show. So stick around till 9 o'clock. Excuse me, 8 o'clock Pacific time, bless you. And we'll be doing that. I have one concern of mine, and that is that our country gets some honesty back in politics. 9 out of 10 people believe that our Congress is corrupt. Our government is on the take. That's how serious the problem is. The approval rating of Congress is down to 10%. And we need somebody like myself, an honest American, to spearhead a top-down restoration of our nation. This is what I've been pitching for 4 years now, and I'm going to keep pitching it because I am running under the simple assumption that they are corrupt and I am not, and I'm not corruptible. And the reason why I say that is I am able to live on a lot less than most people because I am one of those people that's not materialistic. I live within my means or below my means, and I'm able to learn to get along. And I believe that our society is moving in that direction, that we are slowly and gradually becoming a nation of conservers, a nation of savers, a nation that will probably be solvent someday. But we haven't gone there yet because we've got certain things standing in the way, and that is the Federal Reserve, the TSA, the Department of Homeland Security. These are organizations that are costing us money and aren't solving any real problems, okay? The Federal Reserve just prints up money and gives it to big banks. We're not getting any of that money. Did you get a single penny of the $6.1 trillion that they doled out over the past 4 years? No. And you know something? If every American over the age of 18, every U.S. citizen got some of that money, you know how much money we would have had out of that $6.1 trillion? We would have had $24,000 apiece. Potty and B says, most people aren't like you, David. They are swamped in credit card debt. I know, Potty and B. I know, and this is a problem. We need to change the nation that's full of greed, F-13, to a nation that is full of people sharing ideas, sharing politics, and most of all, making sure that we Americans have control over our resources. Right now, under the two-party system, we've seen our nation fall into the hands of foreign multinational corporations. The powerful lobbyists from other countries are controlling our legislation. Do you think if you called up your congressman right now and got him on the phone, if you were lucky to get him on the phone, he would do what you said simply because you voted for him? They only do what they're told by the people that vote for them. That's the problem. We've got a lot of greedy people in Congress that just won't break loose of this incredible hold that money has over them. See, re-election to those people is paramount. They don't care about their policies. They don't care about their constituents. They care about getting re-elected. And therein lies the problem. Our party stands for term limits for Congress, term limits for senators. We want to make sure that our country is free of these people that stay in office and have a revolving door into corporations and industry when they get out. That is a wrong thing, and that's got to be corrected. And in no way should money dominate American politics. We need election reform. We need to get more people running for office that are honest. Are you honest? Would you like to participate in your local community? Well, you can become a political figure in your area simply by declaring yourself an America's Third Party member and running. You can get involved.
You can run for local office, mayor, or anything like that.
Yes, I can be trusted, and I have always been trusted. I have a history of never violating the law. I have a history of always being a person who does the right thing for people, and I truly do care about this country. I wouldn't be risking my life on a daily basis if I didn't care. I recognize that the possibilities of living a long life are being shortened every day that I go online. Every day that I'm running for president, the possibility of me dying at a young age increases. So technically, if I don't win in the upcoming election, I have a better chance of living a long life, realistically speaking. But I'm so concerned about our country living under a totalitarian police state that I'm willing to give my life up for this nation. Now that's the same kind of bravery that we have in the military right now with men and women fighting for our nation. We've got to get back to the core values of this country and start thinking about what really matters. And it's not money. Believe me, it's not. It's our country. It's our resources. It's our people. We've got to solve the homelessness problem. Homelessness is becoming an epidemic problem in America. 3.6 million people are homeless in America today. That's double what it was under Bush. And we aren't going to save that problem or solve that problem by just talking about it. We've got real plans at America's Third Party to get all kinds of housing for people, fixing up, renovating motels and putting kitchenettes in them, and making sure that our Section 8 money that goes out isn't going to slumlords like the guy that got Barack Obama elected, Tony Rezko. That's right, Obama got $350,000 from Tony Rezko, a Syrian businessman in Chicago, and in exchange, Tony Rezko got $100 million in HUD money. Well, guess where Tony Rezko is right now? He's in jail serving a 10-year racketeering charge. Think about the people that were surrounding Barack Obama. John Corzine, the guy who got Barack Obama about half of the $1 billion campaign fund he had. John Corzine is the person that the government's now investigating. The MF Global crisis and the collapse of MF Global. John Corzine is very, very suspicious. His position in the world has been protected by his power and his money. And I can tell you, it may not last for a lot of those people on Wall Street when I become president. We're going to get a much stronger SEC, Security Exchange Commission, with brand new people. And we're going to make sure that we go after these big wigs that think they are above the law and they are making tons of money on our government. It's time, folks, to get behind a brand new third party. It's time to start the process. Begin the begin.
Exactly. Please do join us at americasthirdparty.com, where you can sign up to be a member of America's Third Party. And we were just saying, David was just saying that everyone should run for a political office. If you are in this room, you obviously care about politics, and you can even run under America's Third Party. As long as you're not running for president and vice president, we support everyone running for different offices.
Okay, one of the chatters over in one of our chat rooms, and welcome folks at Battle Camp, one of our chat room chatters says, you will not become president. The only way you can influence government, he's saying, is through violent revolution. I disagree completely. Completely. We are not violent. We're complete online activists that are dedicated to nonviolence. And I got to tell you, if you go ahead and try to become violent in our country, that's exactly what the elitists want. They want to have the reason to declare martial law. So if you think by having a violent revolution, it's going to help our nation, it's not. Most of us are centrists and moderates. We're not violent revolutionists. So I think that person should renegotiate their thoughts and come up with something more rational. We're building a third party. We've got 3 years to do it. I need your help to do it, folks. Talk about a third party. Tweet at third party. We own the name third party for Twitter. I urge you to tell everybody about us and follow us as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and spread the word that the two-party system is failing, that our party supports legalization of marijuana, ending the wars overseas, bringing our troops home, guarding our border, helping to build green, clean industry and production in America, and most of all, get our nation energy independent from foreign oil. This is really important.
Now, there's someone in here that says, I might not vote anymore. I'm just so tired of the political system. What should we say to them? I say that, hey, if you're not going to vote anymore because you're just fed up with the political system, vote for America's Third Party. I mean, it's like, doesn't hurt to give your vote to us.
Thank you, Surfer Punk, over at Battle Camp. Some people think I need to step it up. Well, we've been stepping it up and providing a dedicated show for 4 years now. This is our 1427th show we're doing right now. This is about as dedicated as two people can be, and all of our supporters and members are ready to go. We just need some mainstream media attention, and I can tell you, if this isn't happening, if this mainstream media is not happening, the reason is they don't want a third party. The powerful elitists are preventing a third party from getting mainstream media attention. We'll do everything we can up through the 2016 election to get more attention, but I can tell you the best thing that you can do that the elitists cannot control is talk about us to everybody. Keep mentioning us, and don't just give up and say, oh, well, I guess. You got to keep pushing. You can't give up. Put the heat on, talk about a third party, and believe me, a lot of Democrats and Republicans are about ready to switch parties at this point. They're as tired as anybody could be with the Republican lies, embracing big business, never having any new ideas, and the Democrats supporting big business and always spending tons of money, your tax dollars, and not knowing what they're doing with that money. We need a chance for a fiscal conservative and a social liberal to get elected, and I'm both. I'm right in the middle of the political spectrum, and Sarah and I both share the common platform that we have at our website, americasthirdparty.com. All right, I'm going to sign off on our recorded broadcast, but we're going to stay on all night, or at least another couple hours.
We're live every single weeknight, so